Hey y'all, listen, have y'all seen the video of the young man who's the truck driver who had a conversation with an older white man at a restaurant, who the older white man basically confessed that when he was a firefighter back in the 60s and 70s, how him and his firefighter buddies used to let black people burn and listen to their screams and allow them to burn to death because of the 60s and 70s because they were black. Okay, I tagged him at the bottom. Go to his page, find the video, and take a listen. But listen, let me put this trigger warning out here. Everybody can't listen to this. So know your mindset and know your trigger level, okay, before you go listen to it. But anyway, once I listened to his video, it just brought me back to just a couple days ago. And I'm a true believer in things happen in threes. I don't know where I get it from, but I'm a true believer. Things happen in threes. So a few days ago, there were two patients in the waiting room. They were the last two patients of the day. One was a middle-aged white woman. The other was an older white woman. I would say she was probably in her 70s or 80s, right? And there was me. Me and the middle-aged white woman were having a conversation because she follows me on TikTok. I follow her. And we were talking about the whole washcloth thing. Age-old topic, right? So as me and her are talking, the middle-aged white woman she goes, I don't get it. She said, I honestly think it's the South versus the North thing. She said, because me growing up in the South, in the Carolinas, she said, you can't come in my house without a washcloth. Now, you gonna use a washcloth to wash your butt. She says, I really think it's Northern white people who don't do it. So we just giggling amongst ourselves and we're talking. The older white lady looks at the younger white lady and looks at her kind of strange. And she goes, I'm sorry. She says, I'm confused. You use a washcloth? You bathe every day? So the younger white woman looks at her and goes, yes, ma'am. I bathe every day, sometimes 3 times a day. And yes, I grew up using a wash rag. The older white woman looks at the younger white woman and then looks at me. She goes, I can understand why she bathes every day, but I'm confused why you do. She says, honey, you're white. Your skin is pure. White skin is pure. We don't have to bathe every day because our skin is pure. Black people have to bathe daily because they don't know when they're dirty and their skin is not pure as our skin. Wait, what? So the younger white woman looks at the older white woman and then looks at me, and she looks and says to the older white woman, she said, are you serious right now? She goes, I'm very serious. She said, when I was growing up back in the 40s, I was always told by my mama and my grandmama and my aunts and everybody in my family, white skin is pure. Black skin is not pure. If your skin is darker than my skin, you need to bathe every day because you have impurities in your skin. Black people don't know when they're dirty. So they have to bathe every day so they can be accepted by society. Now it's 2024. And this is her mindset. This is what and again, this is her mindset, and this is how she raised her children. Now, her children would be my age, 50, because I'm 54. She's close to my mama age. You understand? So if she raised her children like this, her children are raising their children like this. You get where I'm going? Okay. Let me tell you something. I've talked to a lot of people because of my profession. And I kid you not when I say this, and I do not say this to be ugly. It is more likely than it's not to find people with this mindset. It's more likely than not to find people with this mindset. To find people with the mindset of that 89-year-old man who dressed in the 60s and the 70s. I was born in 1970. That was only 54 years ago. You understand? It's more likely than not to find people with that mindset. Yeah. Let that sit in your head and marinate for about 10 minutes. And then we can come back and talk about it. All right. Bye.